welcome to Learning English Together. I'm Anastasia Orshak. Do you want to read books in English and original, but you don't really know what books to start with? Then my video is for you. Today I want to share with you books in English that you will surely manage to read in original. So, let's get started. I recommend you to start with different fairy tales, such as Cinderella, Pinocchio, The Sleeping Beauty, The Little Mermaid, and so on. Firstly, you've known all these fairy tales since childhood. Secondly, vocabulary in these fairy tales is easy, and grammar is plain. Now, I'm gonna read out loud 2 sentences from a fairy tale called Cinderella. Listen. Once there lived a beautiful young girl who was loving and kind. Once a day her mother died, and her father married again because he was so lonely. See, it's so easy. By the way, it would be great if you watch Disney versions of these fairy tales. Then you'll improve your listening skill as well. The World of Winnie the Pooh is the next book that I recommend you to read in English, in original. I'm sure you know this book. It's fun and interesting. As for me, I'm in love with that bear, and I enjoy reading about his adventures. Best of all, this book was written in a simple language. So if you're on level pre-intermediate, you will read this book without getting stuck. The Graveyard Book was written by the contemporary writer Neil Gaiman. It's a story about a boy whose parents were killed and who was lucky to stay alive because he crawled into the graveyard at the age of 3, and he had been living there for about 10 years. I know it sounds a bit peculiar and weird, but the story is really worthy. Yes, it's a bit more complicated concerning grammar and vocabulary than the World of Winnie the Pooh or fairy tales. But anyway, you will learn some interesting idioms and phrasal verbs if you read this book. 30 Reasons Why by J. Asher is the next book that you should read in English in original. Yeah, vocabulary is extremely tough in this book. You can learn 1,000 of American slang expressions and phrasal verbs if you read this book. And I think that's cool. But anyway, grammar is so plain in this book. Now a bit of a story. Hannah Baker committed suicide. She was in high school and nobody really knew why she did it. But once, Clay Jensen finds a box of tapes near his house, and he's about to find out why Hannah Baker committed suicide. This book is so thrilling that I couldn't help reading it, but I couldn't get my head around some expressions several times. And the last but not the least book that you must read in English is Harry Potter. I'm in love with this series of books. I've read all the volumes of Harry Potter in Russian several times. I watched all the movies both in English and Russian, and I've already read 4 volumes of Harry Potter in English. And I have no doubts you know what Harry Potter is about. But anyway, it's a story about Harry Potter and his best friends Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley. They go to Hogwarts. It's a school for wizards. They have a lot of adventures together. They have to face difficulties and danger. By the way, both vocabulary and grammar are not complicated in this series of books, and I'm sure you will enjoy the process of reading such a great story. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please let me know and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to push the like button and follow me on Instagram and other social nets. You can find the links in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Bye. But frankly, Алло?